Hello, this is David Owen with Chainscape Web, and welcome to the Real Producers Partners podcast. In this episode, we have Ron Skaggs from Around the Clock Pest Control. He's going to talk to us about what he does and how he's been doing it for years. And before we start, Ron, what's the best way for our listeners to get in touch with you?
Well, there's a couple ways to get a hold of me. First one is you can call the office at 314-303-7240. You can email it aroundtheclockpestcontrol@gmail.com, or you can also go to the website to contact us through there at www.aroundtheclockpest.com.
Okay, great. Great. Have you gotten a lot of calls? I'm curious. Have you gotten a lot of calls about the cicadas that have been in the area?
Not really. We actually posted something on our website to teach people about cicadas and how they're good. And, even though they're a nuisance on certain aspects, they can kill small trees. But we actually posted something to say how good they are for the environment, too.
Okay. All right. Well, they're just noisy.
Oh, definitely.
I noticed this morning when I had my coffee outside that it was a little quieter than it has been.
Yeah, it's been quieting down. It should be over, I guess, the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about how you got started in the industry, and are you from St. Louis? Why St. Louis? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm from St. Louis, born and raised. We definitely been doing this a long time. I started with a company over in North County. So learned a lot on that side for just general pest control, restaurants. We did a lot of the high-end restaurants. So we definitely did a lot of that. So I learned everything from the roaches to just dealing with everything that you see in your home or that you would see in restaurants. Then I went from there. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What do you define as a pest?
Well, your pests can be anything from roaches, ants, spiders, crickets, silverfish, to fleas, brown recluse spiders, everything insect-wise. We even do wildlife, and we also do termites too.
Yeah, that was my question. I was thinking, do you do mice, rodents,
Yes.
that kind of stuff, inside, outside?
Yep, totally everything inside, outside. A lot of the companies like to focus just on outside, but I'm still a little old school, so I do the inside also on every treatment.
Okay.
Which separates us from a lot of other companies that just come and do the outside. We, unless the customer asks just outside, because we will cater to what they want, but we do inside and outside every time.
Okay. So you started this company, correct?
Yes.
So why did you decide to go out on your own?
Well, I started in 2011 on my own. I was with two other companies. I watched both of them sell out. And so I was bouncing from one company that sold and then another company, and then they sold out. And it was literally at the end of the market crash when, the housing market went down.
Sure.
And so they were trying to come back up. I guess they couldn't make it back out. So they sold the company. And that's when I went out and started my own.
Okay. All right. Are you glad you did?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was scared at first. You never know what you're looking at, from a guaranteed paycheck to something that you're working for yourself and making your own money. It was definitely a scary thing.
So from your experience, how has the industry changed over the years?
Well, one of the biggest things, chemical always changes. They went from, DDTs and chlordane, that was even before me.
Yeah.
To the stuff that we got now, to even people pushing green, using mint sprays, so you see a lot of those types of changes.
Okay.
Bed bugs are huge things that's come back. Over my years of being in this, about 25 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, not counting my age. Definitely I've seen them come back tremendously. And it's because of the sprays. We don't use the DDTs or anything like that no more. And so that's why you're seeing that resurgence of those.
A lot of people don't think much about pests until they have ants walking across their counter. And what can they do to kind of prevent that activity?
A lot of the stuff that you can do is keeping stuff clean. And a lot of people don't realize, there's so many that little specks of crumbs that get between the stove and the countertop.
Okay.
Easily forgotten. You're wiping your stove down, not thinking about the crumbs that get in between there.
Sure.
And so those spots like that are, notorious. Behind the refrigerator, the crumbs from the, any type of food that you got in your pantry.
Hmm.
That's where, back when, we were growing up and stuff, we had Tupperware.
Right.
You don't hear about it much no more, but they're great to keep pests out. It keeps your grain weevils out and your little moths and stuff like that. Keeps all that away. And it's good to store all your pastas and cereals and that kind of stuff to help with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just keeps it fresher longer. And I'm not here to sell Tupperware, but that kind of a container that seals up, I'm sure the fragrance of the food is contained as well.
Oh, definitely. And it's cheaper to buy bulk. So, when you're putting it into those Tupperware containers to, keep it fresh,
Yeah.
you're saving a little bit of money too.
Right.
Especially with me having 4 kids.
Yeah.
So we got a big house, so it's easier to go that way.
Yeah. You bet. You bet. So what makes you different than a lot of the companies out there? We see a lot of ads on TV all the time for different um, pest control companies. What makes you different?
Well, the main thing is we're family owned, which there's a lot of them in St. Louis that are family owned. But I try to keep costs down, and we cater to the customer. Like I said, inside, outside sprays. I keep my costs down. We have no contracts, which is huge compared to other companies. I feel if we did something wrong and I can't rectify the issue for you, then you shouldn't be stuck with me.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm huge on, even though I, do everything to try to make somebody happy. Sometimes you can't, and I don't want them stuck with me for another, 2 or 3 sprays just because they're under a contract.
Sure.
So we do no contracts. We cater to everybody. We, try to set exact times really. Of course you got to allow for drive time, stuff like that. But, we don't do 4-hour windows, just come out and spray the outside. We'll be there at 11, to come inside and outside. So pretty much you don't have to base your whole morning and your whole afternoon waiting for us.
So do you do kind of routine checkups? Tell me a little bit about how you do your services.
Well, our system emails everybody, texts everybody, even when they're on their way. It lets them know, hey, we're on our way. We're this far out. Like I said, the inside, outside, is a general pest control. We can add mice to that. We can add like I said, anything you need to it. We can cater to your services that you want. We always recommend at least once a year doing a termite inspection, which is included. It's totally free, as long as it's not for a warranty purpose or, pest control, real estate purposes. Termite inspection is free for everybody. Come out there and take a look and make sure everything is good in your home.
What's an indication that people that you haven't used your services could know that they might need some help with that? Termites specifically.
Well, termites are hard to know that you have. That's why it's good to do your yearly inspection, because they come up underneath the insulation. They come up because your soil's too high on the side of your house. They hide underneath your firewood. They're very secretive. So a lot of times you won't even know that you got it. And when you're sitting there and you got a shelter tube, you just think it's dirt sometimes, and people sweep it down, not realizing they have termites. So those little indicators are definitely a good thing to do. If you're going to rehab your basement, it's good just to call us, and let us come out and check for you before you actually finish your ceiling or finish your walls or anything like that, so that we can see if you have termites beforehand.
Right. Are there areas, you mentioned soil up against the high on the foundation. Are there other indicators or characteristics that may cause a termite infestation?
Well, the famous saying here is in St. Louis: if you haven't had them, you're gonna get them.
Okay.
So every house can get them. They're
Yep.
literally, they can forge from a football field away. You're talking 100
Really?
yards. Oh yeah, they can literally be at your neighbors down the street, and they're forging to your home. They are a forging insect. The number one spot is your front porch. Probably number two is your garage. So there are areas that you're not even able to see because the concrete's protecting them.
Uh-huh.
And that's what they like. That concrete keeps that moisture, keeps that good temperature for them, protects them year round. So, you're not usually seeing them come up. They will definitely come up on the side of your house, but they're not trying to be seen. So, they want those hidden areas under your
Do they
slabs.
go under the slab of your garage?
Do they what?
Do they go under the concrete on your garage floor?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They'll come
Concrete
on the garage floor and then
literally.
on the foundation wall. So that's how they come
Okay.
in, and then they hit the foundation wall. Then they hit that sill plate and work their way up from there.
Yeah. So yeah, they bore through the wood and go from there.
Exactly. And they don't like to be
Okay.
seen. So, there's a lot of times you won't even see them in the wood. They can be doing damage from your wood
Wow.
from the outside, and we can't see it from the inside. Hidden conditions that you're just not seeing.
So when you do an inspection, how do you do that? Because
Well,
they're so secretive.
usually you want to move all the insulation. So the closer that you can get to the wall, less storage. You definitely want to be able to get to all of that. Removing that insulation is a great tool to do. Having a ladder, flashlight, a screwdriver, so you can probe. Which we definitely want to hit the wood if we think that's a weak spot. Even though some people think we damaged the wood, when we're doing that, we're actually the wood's already damaged from the termite.
Yeah.
So we're just checking to see if there's actual termites in there. If we think that area has termites, we need to find out. Drywall is a number one, another spot when you're checking around the front door or something and you're looking for ant farm designs, dirt coming through. It almost looks like the paint is there, but there's nothing behind it.
Okay.
So that's why I say an ant farm design in the wall. Everybody's kind of seen an ant farm. It's that kind of design that's underneath the paint when you're shining your flashlight down at it. Yeah.
Wow. That's something to keep an eye out for. I would think this time of year they'd be active. Maybe it doesn't matter because they're down in the dirt.
Yes, they're active year round here. They're slower in the wintertime, but they're still active in the wintertime.
Yeah. Yeah. So from a real estate perspective, from an agent perspective, what are some of the things that they should be aware of?
Well, one of the biggest things that I always try to, let agents know, is they love to sit there and say there's no activity found, it's old, stuff like that. It doesn't matter. When you're dealing with termites, they're foraging insects, so they could not be active at that moment in time and come back at a later date. So when we sit there and we tell everybody, we never want to say old, we never really want to say new, unless we can literally see that it's moist and there's termites in it, but when you're sitting there talking about you just see evidence and there's no activity, we say it's not active at this moment in time. And the reason we say that is because they are a foraging insect. Like I said earlier, you're talking a football field away. So they got miles and miles literally of, different runs that they can use at that time. And if they can't find a good food source or they find a better food source, the wood's got better food in it, that they want. So they'll go to that area and stuff and leave that one alone. And then they'll come back at a later date.
They have long memories too, it sounds like.
Well, they are known to do, we actually go to work so we can eat. They eat so they can go to work.
Yeah.
So they work constantly. So that's why when I said they're foraging, they're constantly foraging for a good food source to be able to eat.
Yeah. So I had pine trees in the backyard that had termites in it. The pine trees are long gone and the stumps are still there, but there's no discernible activity of termites in them. But that doesn't mean they're not around.
if you never treated your home or it doesn't have any protection, it's always a good thing to be protected. So
Okay.
one of those things I tell people, for instance, a slab home or it's a finished basement, we don't see no evidence. Sometimes I tell them it's better to be proactive,
Sure.
turn your little piggy bank jar into a termite jar. And, when you get up to, the amount that you need for the treatments, literally get the home treated just to be proactive. It's better to protect sometimes than wait until they do their billions of dollars in damage they do every year throughout the homes in the U.S.
Now, how do you go about treating for that?
Well, there's a couple different ways of treatments. The two major ways that people do treatment are bait stations or a liquid treatment. So we do offer both. Since I work for the real estate side, I do more of the liquid treatment because we want to keep it cost effective for the buyers.
Okay.
When you're doing a bait station, you're literally putting them into either a quarterly or, depending on the company, a bi-monthly payments plan. And, I want to make sure that it's cost effective because, they're buying a house. It's their first time or they've
Sure.
done it before, but that's an extra cost they wasn't expecting. With a liquid, you're just looking at a one time a year type of price, and it's low, to keep up with your warranty.
So is that
And,
just a spray around the outside? How does that work?
well, liquid is we're drilling inside the garage, drilling the front porch, drilling the back patio or any concrete that touches it. And then, of course, pumping, patching the holes back up with concrete, and then treating the soil around the rest of the home. So I
Okay.
tell people it's kind of like building a moat around your castle.
Okay.
Is the easiest way to think about it. It's not green. So, if you care about that, then the bait stations are the way to go. And that's where when people call me and ask, I educate them on both. I want them to make an educated decision on what they're picking so that they can actually be like, hey, this is the way to go, or no, we don't like that way. Let's do it this way.
Now, a bait station is a central point that attracts them. Is that how that works?
Yep. A bait station is put about every 10 feet all the way around your home.
Okay.
The only way that those work is because it's a non-active cartridge inside the bait stations. And then when they get an active hit, because it's being monitored, they take that non-active cartridge and they put an active cartridge in.
Okay.
So that's where it's only as good as you're paying for it. So if if something happens and you can't afford to pay for it, you don't have no real protection around your house. And
So
that's where the liquid treatment comes in at. You're protected no matter what.
Okay. So what is the non-active bait station consist of? Is that just like a piece of wood that is down in the ground that you're
Well,
looking
every
for
system is
activity?
different. Yes, every system is different. Yeah, it's usually a piece of wood. Depending on the bait station, there is some that's got cellulose in it.
Okay.
Cellulose is what the termites are looking for in wood, paper, boxes, anything like that. They're wanting cellulose.
Okay.
Okay, so like there are some that's got 100% cellulose at the top of it. Like there's wood at the bottom and cellulose at the top. And that cellulose cartridge is what you take out and replace it with an active cellulose cartridge.
Okay.
Some have wood in it that you take out and replace with the chemical that's got wood, that's in it. So it just depends on the system that's out there or that you're using or whatever company is selling.
Sure. Sure. And what does the active cartridge consist of?
Literally, it's just whatever chemical that company is using in it. So, it can be a fipronil based, anything else that's out there. So it just totally depends on the active ingredient.
So is it designed to that they ingest part of that and then take it back to the crowd to share it or something?
Exactly. Yep. That's how your bait systems work, and that's how your good chemicals for termites work. Now you can, of course, depending on companies, get cheaper chemical. That's what we call non-repellents and repellents.
Mm-hmm.
You want a non-repellent so that they get it on them, take it back to the colony, and eliminate the colony.
Okay.
Repellent is a little bit stronger, so it kills kind of like on contact.
Okay.
So they're not going to make it back to the colony.
Yeah.
So that's why you want to use a non-repellent, which is why you're going to use you want to use a good chemical when you're doing those liquid treatments to have a non-repellent to be able to kill them.
Yeah. Now, what about the people that go to the home store and buy a can of spray?
Well, a spray's going to kill them. If you can get them on contact, you're going to kill what's there. But
Okay.
you're not really going to get a non-repellent, which is, what I was saying, that you need to be able to kill them off. You're
Right.
not going to drill through the concrete. You're not going to have the equipment to pump into underneath the concrete.
Right.
Yeah, you could spray the soil, but if they don't hit that area because they're underneath your front porch, you're not going to eliminate the issue.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with bait stations. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do and monitoring those bait stations, then you're not going to do it. And you got to think, most of us homeowners are lazy.
Yeah.
So we're not doing it, or you're not spraying your house every time, every other month or every quarter, that you truly need to do it. That's why you have us.
Sure.
Plus we're trained, so we actually know what we need to do and what we need to use and how to be safe with that chemical.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we lose a lot of chemicals, because people aren't safe with them. So the EPA has to take them off the market.
So, when you come out and look for, I'll just use the term bug. It could be a number of them. Do you set up a program to, you said you don't do contracts, but do you set up a program where it's a reoccurring activity to ensure that the infestation, whether it was noticed or not, is no longer there?
Like I said, we cater to the customer, so we do what they want. Of course, we always recommend a quarterly pest control.
Okay.
That's your year-long guarantee that you're not going to have ants or crickets or something like that, your general pest coming in your home. If you see, like if you're under our quarterly contract, and just like most other companies, if you're under our quarterly contracts and, you see an ant, we come back out at no cost to you.
Okay.
So that's where your quarterly, and of course you get a discounted price on that too.
Okay.
Our one-time treatments are just a little 30-day guarantee. So you'll allow about 14 days, and then if you see anything after that, we got literally, we come back out. But after your 30 days is over, you have no protection.
Okay.
So that's why, and it's a little bit more expensive, because initial or one time is going to be, higher than our quarterly is going to be. Or if you pay for the year up front, we even offer a better discount on that too.
Sure. That all makes sense. So, again, if the best way is for people to be diligent and to look, pay attention, look under the stove once in a while, look under
Clean
the
the stove
burners.
every once in a while.
Yeah, clean it. Well, we try to do that, but I think, how often do I look under the stove?
Yeah.
Is there something going on under there, or under the sink?
Yep.
I would think that pests travel on along the pipe in your house too, on the outside, use it as a highway, and could come through the openings in the drywall to get in your house as well.
Definitely. Different pests from mice, for mice instance, they leave a trail. It's usually a urine trail, so people can, so they can follow that, so they know where they go. Because the whole three blind mice thing, they see shapes and shadows, but they don't really see like how we see everything.
Okay.
So their whiskers, they do a lot of their whiskers to feel where they're going, and they use their nose. So that pheromone trail, that they're leaving, is how they know where to go. Ants do the same thing. They do a pheromone trail. A lot of your insects are all like pheromone trails, and they don't want to be seen, so it's when you're sitting there talking about, they're running those pipes, or they're running that crack that, that you should have sealed up around the outside of your house where your water spigot goes in.
Right.
That just wears out, because over time your house needs maintenance, and, if you're neglecting it, they're getting more spots to come in.
Sure.
Or if there's a moisture issue, you're not cleaning your gutters. Simple things like that that people kind of neglect, are different. It can cause different issues.
Right.
They can literally, I've seen ants nest in gutters, nest in the leaves, because nobody's cleaned those out. And then you got ant infestation, and that's why.
Right. Right. And then I would imagine that if they're in the gutter, they can come up under the roofing, get into your attic, and then they're in your house.
Definitely.
Okay.
Can definitely happen that way. I see carpenter ants do that all the time. A lot of people don't trim those dead limbs, which is huge, but it's expensive. If you ain't got the pole saw to do it or something like that, you got to pay somebody to do it. It can get
That's right.
expensive.
That's right.
And those dead limbs usually can have carpenter ants in them. And that dead limb's over the top of your house, and that carpenter ant's coming right into your house.
Right.
Once that colony's too big in that limb, they're kicking, the swarmers out, and they're coming into your house and building a nest in your attic.
Yeah, I was sitting out, like I said, having coffee this morning, and I'm looking at a table on our patio, and I'm watching the ants travel up the side of a pot into a plant that we formerly had inside, now is outside, and just traveling up on there, just a whole train of them.
Oh yeah, that means if you got a trail like that, that means they found something.
Oh.
Either they're getting moisture from it, getting food from it, they're getting something, or it can be nesting in it. There's something about that pot that they're actually getting, using. And so that's what they're doing. When you see a trail like that, you know that they found something. Like I said, it could be their home, it could be the food source, it could be a water source. They found something. Because the sporadic is they're foraging, they're looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
But with a whole trail like that, they found something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of watched them a little while. I told my wife, that's not coming back in the house. So, well, what else should we know about you guys?
Don't really know. Like I said, I started in 2011. I'm here to educate, which is a big thing. I want everybody to be educated on what we do or why we do it. I don't want to push any certain thing down your throats. Oh, you need new insulation, or hey, you need to go bait station, or I don't want to push anything. I want you to be educated so that you know what you're getting, what you want, and you're not forced into it. So I don't use scare tactics. We want you to be totally educated on everything. So I'm just always a phone call away. It doesn't matter what time of the day. You can call me, leave an email, and I'll call you back.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. Do you get emergency calls?
Yes, we do get emergency calls. Usually I talk them into going in the morning because we do charge a higher price. If I got to leave at 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'm going to charge you for it.
You bet.
So most of the time it's, just talking them off the ledge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally understandable.
So yeah, that's a lot that we do, but we do everything. Like I said, we do wildlife, and that's usually the late night calls we'll get. I've had them with snakes, bats, squirrels. Literally, my wife caught a baby squirrel with her hands. She had gloves on, but she caught it with her hands.
Wow.
Oh yeah, she's got a picture of it and stuff like that. Literally went out there and caught it. She catches snakes with her hands. I'll have tongs standing behind her, and she just reaches down and grabs it behind the back of the head and and captures it. She does it all the time. I'm like, I got tongs right here. Oh, this is easier.
Now I'm sure that people, when they see a snake, are very concerned that they have a whole bunch of them. Is that necessarily true?
It can be. Usually, if you got snakes, you have mice.
Okay.
It's just nature, So if you got snakes, why do you got snakes?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. All right, let's take care of the mouse issue.
Yeah.
And
again, they're looking for a food source.
If you take care of the mouse issue, you're going to take care of the snake issue.
Sure.
Squirrels, raccoons, stuff like that are coming in your attic. Usually they're coming in your attic, because they need a place to stay. And it could be simple facts that a lot of the times that we do the repairs is because the roof was neglected. The gutters were neglected, so there's rotten wood and they're getting into it that way. Sometimes not, but a lot of times that is why. And the thing that separates us from other companies on the wildlife is my wildlife crew are old roofers. So they know how to do all the repairs.
Okay.
They know how to replace the leads. They know how to replace the siding or replace the soffit that they're getting into. They know how to replace all that.
You can be helpful in a lot of ways, not just removing the pest. You can help restore.
Yes. Yeah. My crew can definitely do that. That's, with us doing, my family did roofing for 40 years.
Okay.
So I've had roofing on that side. So, I was able to bring in roofers to be able to take care of those issues on the wildlife side.
Okay.
So, so it made us a little bit more, knowledgeable on everything that needed to be done up there while they were just removing the wildlife.
Right. Right. All right. Well, this has been fun. I've learned a lot, and there's a lot I need to pay attention to, I can tell.
We all do.
So thanks for your time, Ron. Again, how can remind everyone how they can get a hold of you?
Well, you can call the office at 314-303-7240. You can email me at aroundtheclockpestcontrol@gmail.com, or you can even schedule on our website at www.aroundtheclockpest.com.
Okay. All right. That's great. Thanks much, Ron. Appreciate
thank
your
you. Have a good
time
day.
and taking the time to educate us.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. All right. Thanks.
All right, bye.